3. Oh, okay, I'm gonna pay attention. These are so long. Like, I know why I did that, but seriously, really long. I don't even know how I have any of this left. It's the softest yarn in the world. This is Loops and Threads. It's ombre hues, polyester blend, Loops and Threads. Each of these weighs a different amount. I measured them in grams last night. I know for certain that they do weigh different amounts. However, there is no however. They are technically supposed to be the same weight because that's their point. However, it will be fine, I believe. I believe it should be fine. I do have to place this first though. So, let's see. Okay, I might have to roll up these strands back because I'll have to decide which is which. I can decide that right now. I can just decide that at 7 in the morning. Sure. 1, 2. What is this? This is amazing. Setting it up, it's very important to keep all of these alternating. So you have to put one in front of the shed bar and then the next, like one warp thread in front, one warp thread behind. Because then when you attach the heddle bars, which come after attaching the loom weights, it will allow you to create the shed and the counter shed. Them normally hanging down like this is the shed. And then when you pull the back warp threads to the front using the heddle bars, which I'll attach after, that's going to be where you get this counter shed effect. Okay, 4 threads per every 1. Lining these up is actually going to be, like, keeping them all taut is going to be harder than I expected. It's a challenge I did not realize would exist. Okay, but how do you keep them in order then? If they're all just a bundle? Like, how do you... I guess if it's the warp shed through the... But they should be in order. How do you keep them in order? I wish I could ask, like, the ancient Athenian women right now, hey, how do you keep these in order? Do the diagrams show anything? No, that's the wrong diagram and it doesn't show multiple threads. Can I just do this? I think I might just do this. This is the tricky part. Getting them all at the same length is actually really hard. Also, make sure that each one of these is about the same amount of taut. That's a good tip.
I appreciate your help in capturing my dog. Subjects are beneath contempt, Mrs. Scrabble.
I'll just secure the base a little bit more. Since it should be against a wall, I'm thinking about removing this so it's not just on a single beam. So first we start with the shed. That's when, should it be tilted more? Okay. The shuttle passes between, why is the shuttle so thick? Okay. The shuttle passes between the shed and the counter shed. And then you raise it up like this. Not raise it up. What's the word? I'm keeping this looped here. I don't know what kind of technique that is, but so it alternates. Oh my god, it actually works! That's what you do to create the counter shed. I might need to brace it, and I might be bracing it with my feet. Because I don't, well, let's see. Yeah, it does move. So I'm not sure how they would secure this portion of it that's on the floor, because it's very slippery. But, okay, see, how did they secure this part? Basically, you pull it forward. When you pull on the heddle bar, it creates the counter shed. You slip this shuttle through the counter shed, which will alternate. And then you make that taut against there. It's actually working, like as a loom. However, these ought to be more even. I'm gonna space them out because I thought that what would matter is how even they are compared to the loom weights. So I was angling every fourth and first one together because they're bundled on the loom weights and I wanted them to all be taut. However, it will mess up the grid effect. Like, we're weaving up here. This is why the cloth beam can roll. We're weaving up here. We're not weaving down there. I don't even believe that you would weave below the shed bar because this is where the heddles are attached, right above the shed bar. You have to pull this forward. There are multiple heddle bars, and this I actually did see within the experimental archaeology paper by Susan Edmonds that built a loom quite like this, but very large. I'm making cloth right now, in an ancient way. God, this is cool. Okay, wait. I will say my back is starting to hurt already. Maybe because I'm holding the loom with my feet. Maybe if I scoot closer, because I'm trying to let it be warp weighted, but I'm also not certain how they would have made the shed, the natural shed, that's what it's called, when it's just the alternating ones, it's just like this and you're not pulling the heddle bars. I'm not certain how they ever got the natural shed, like how they got the shuttle through the natural shed easily. And I'm also not sure, I wish I had researched further before I did this, and I can research this right after this. I wish I had looked into what they used to scoot these threads up, because modern day weavers have a device, and again, I don't know the name because I'm brand new to weaving on my ancient Athenian loom, of course. But modern day weavers, I do know that they have a device that they use to push this up. I was about to say comb, but that feels wrong. Oh, it's snagged. Okay. If the wood isn't perfectly sanded, like on this corner, this is sharp because I wasn't ever anticipating the yarn to go there. However, the warp thread did just catch on that part and it did snag and it looked like it ripped a little. So warning, if your yarn is contacting any part of your loom and it's not sanded, then it might cause some problems. But I wish I had more warp threads. I thought that it would be, oh, what is this? Okay, I thought that it would be easier to see and easier to understand if there were fewer warp threads. Warp threads are the vertical ones. Something that is really vital to a lot of ancient literature in these weaving scenes is that the women are singing while they weave. So they're weaving both song and textile at the same time. However, I also don't sing. I whistle. I mean, what if Penelope was out here whistling instead of singing while she wove? Questions I wish I could ask an ancient Athenian weaver. How do you keep your loom from sliding when you pull the counter shed? Well, when you pull the heddle bar to create the counter shed. Another question I would have for her is, at what point do you roll the cloth beam? Because these are starting to get pretty angled. These side warp threads right here, they're starting to get angled because they're weighted by loom weights. So and also because my tension is quite poor at the start right here. My third question is, how do you account for the natural shed coming along with the counter shed, and also the natural shed not being that distinguished? You know, when you pull the counter shed, I think it really makes a difference. But when it's just laying here, there's not that much of a difference. Should my shuttle be thinner? Should I use a smaller spool? My fourth question. Besides the fact, why are you, ancient Athenian woman, on YouTube answering my questions? How many warp threads should I have had? Because I think that I should have included a lot more now that I'm seeing the result of this. Who is building the looms? Is it men building the looms? And I was running far away. Would I run off the road someday? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And I was dancing in the rain. I felt alive and I can't explain. No, take me home. Take me home where I belong. I can't take it anymore. The shed is in my counter shed. I wish I had prepared some weaving songs. Loom weight rager. I am not a weaver. I guess I am now. I guess I'm a weaver. Oh man. Doesn't Penelope weave outside in front of the suitors? Or is that just in that one scene of the Odyssey pop-up book? I've read 3 different versions of the Odyssey. I should know this. And one of them, though, was the Odyssey pop-up book, which gave me a very visceral, visual image of Penelope sitting outside. I keep on being scared that I'm saying Persephone. I'm not, but you know, it's always in my head. Penelope outside in front of all the suitors weaving. And I do want to say, you know that scene where they're all like, oh my God, she was unraveling her work and she fooled all the suitors. I'm so excited to understand now why that is a reality. That's actually possible. The cloth beam rolls up the cloth. This means, okay, like what this entails is answering a lifelong mystery question that I've had. Oh, we lost a guy. No warp threads were missed out in the making of this production. But also this yarn is polyester. Water. Oh, that's important. Getting the water was the woman's job from the public wells. And it was one of the only places that they could see their friends. It looks pretty good if you just stretch it. No, because I want to see how the cloth bar works. Let's see. All right, so it's just spinning this. Oh, I wonder if it's because it's so weighted. I'm going to pick up the loom weights and see if that changes anything. I'm going to set them on the box. Let's see if this works. Oh my God, so if it's unweighted, it actually does work. Loom update. I just now realized right now that every time I go this way, I'm doing the shed. Every time I go this way, I'm doing the counter shed. It just hit me right now that won't be the case the entire time. I'm seeing now why this thread has, well, besides the tensioning problem, why this thread has been so problematic and hanging lower than the rest of the threads.